The world's largest and most expensive palace is neither the Buckingham Palace of the British family, nor the palace of the Saudi king, nor the palace of the rich man of Qatar. Rather, it is present in a small country in Asia, Brunei, a small empire whose sultan is one of the richest and most powerful people in the world. Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah. Gold is so common in his palace that every corner is filled with it. Doors, walls, chairs, and tables. Precious gold shines everywhere. And Brunei is not just the name of wealth. It is such an empire where every road opens a new secret, a place where the will of the Sultan is the law, and where the great powers of the world are silent before his command. Brunei is a small but incredibly rich country bursting with natural resources, where the ruler Hassanal Bolkiah is the owner of such a personality which is a living proof of secrecy, glory, and power. And, since 1967, he has been the sole owner of the throne of Brunei, sitting on that throne for so many decades that after the death of Queen Elizabeth II, he became the king who has ruled for the longest time in the entire world. And this story is not just about time, but about the kind of wealth that ordinary people cannot even begin to think about or imagine in their entire lifetimes. Many international sources have reported that Hassanal Bolkiah's personal net worth is more than $30 billion, and these are considered very reliable estimates by financial experts across the globe. Yet no one has truly been able to know about his real wealth because the numbers are simply too large and too hidden to fully calculate, and behind his grandeur and luxury lifestyle are the oil and gas reserves of Brunei, which are hidden under the ground like gold, where every barrel of oil and every drop of gas adds another zero to the Sultan's already unimaginable wealth. But the Sultan of Brunei is not one of those royal families who hide their wealth in the shadows, because he displays it openly and proudly for the entire world to see and to be astonished by. He has the world's largest private car collection, which surprisingly and almost unbelievably contains 7,000 cars. And this is not an ordinary collection of nice vehicles, because inside his specially built climate-controlled garages, you will find 600 Rolls-Royces sitting side by side, 450 Ferraris gleaming under the lights, and an almost impossible-to-believe 3,880 Bentleys lined up in perfect rows. And the most unique and extraordinary piece of this entire collection is a 24-carat gold-plated Rolls-Royce silver spur, which the Guinness Book of World Records has officially listed as the most expensive car in the entire world. A car that not only shines like the sun, but also gives a small glimpse into the Sultan's most expensive and extraordinary hobby. And the total price of the Sultan's entire car collection is estimated by experts to be somewhere around $5 billion, which is more than the entire annual budget of many countries around the world. If you look up from the ground into the sky above, his private jet fleet is no less extraordinary than anything else in his life, because the Sultan owns a gold-plated Boeing 747-400, which in itself costs around $400 million. But the Sultan does not use it simply as a plane to travel from one place to another. He uses it as a flying palace in the sky, with crystal chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, gold wash basins in the bathrooms, and a luxury interior so extraordinary that an additional $120 million was spent separately, very deliberate means of showing the world his power and his money. And it does not end there, because the Sultan also gifted his own daughter a brand new private jet as a birthday gift. And in total, the Sultan owns 17 aeroplanes in his private collection, with a large amount of gold used in each and every one of them, which is why Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah is also widely known around the world as the Emperor of the Sky. There are many other deeply interesting aspects of the Sultan's extraordinary personality, such as the fact that he is a certified military pilot who trained at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst in the United Kingdom, and that he regularly calls his favorite barber all the way from London to fly to Brunei, spending $21,000 on just a single haircut, which is more than most people in the world earn in an entire year of hard work. And this is only a small sample of his luxury lifestyle, because the Sultan is also a passionate art collector who once bought the famous French painter Renoir's painting for an astonishing $7 billion. And he is so extraordinarily open-handed in his spending that in 1996 he spent $3 billion on his own 50th birthday party, a celebration so grand and so extraordinary that the entire world stopped to pay attention. During this legendary birthday celebration, Michael Jackson himself was personally invited to perform and was paid $250 million for his performance alone, a single payment that made headlines around the entire world. And during this time, a 2-week public holiday was declared throughout the entire country of Brunei, and a whole brand new stadium was specially constructed just for this one special occasion, in which 60,000 royal guests from every corner of the world participated and attended in person. Was that every single royal guest who came to the birthday party was given a real solid gold medal as a gift to take home with them. Speaking of the palace, where this Sultan lives and rules, the Istana Nurul Iman was designed by the Filipino architect Leandro Locsin, and its breathtaking interior design was created by Quan Chu, the same legendary designer who also designed the famous Burj Al Arab Hotel in Dubai. And in 1984, an extraordinary $150 million was spent on the construction of this palace, which is the same amount that was later spent on the construction of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Yet while the Burj Khalifa rises into the sky, this palace spreads across the earth in every direction and is 3 times larger than the famous Versailles Palace in Paris, France. And the numbers inside this palace are almost impossible to believe, because there are 1,788 rooms within its walls, along with 257 bathrooms, a banquet hall large enough to seat 5,000 guests simultaneously, a mosque for prayer, a garage specifically built to house 110 cars, an air-conditioned stable specially designed to house 200 polo ponies in complete comfort, and not 1, not 2, but 5 separate swimming pools. And the most special and breathtaking thing of all is that the dome of this palace is made entirely of 22-karat gold, which glows and shines in the sunlight and can be seen from great distances, and every single corner of this palace tells its own story of grandeur, from the gold and marble floors beneath your feet to the intricately carved doors and the detailed carvings on every wall. And this palace contains more than 550 gold chandeliers hanging from its ceilings and 18 elevators to carry people between its 17 floors. And it is so large that the Sultan and his family use electric golf carts to travel from one part of the palace to another. And this palace is not only the home of the Sultan and his family, but also serves simultaneously as the headquarters of the Prime Minister's office and the entire Brunei government, meaning that all the major decisions of the country are made from within these golden walls. Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah is not only the richest king in the world, he is also simultaneously the Prime Minister, the Finance Minister, and the Home Minister of Brunei all at the same time. And the constitutional amendments of 2004 strengthened his powers so dramatically that he has been given a position higher than the law itself, both in his government role and in his personal life, making him perhaps the most powerful individual ruler on the face of the earth today. Now, seeing all of this extraordinary wealth and power, you might think that Brunei would be a very liberal and free country. But the reality is quite the opposite, because the most important aspect of his government is the strict implementation of Sharia law. And in 2019, the Sultan implemented Islamic law completely and fully throughout the country, under which very strict punishments are given for various crimes. And this step became the target of fierce criticism from governments and human rights organizations all over the world, resulting in protests being recorded outside the luxury hotels owned by the Sultan in London, Paris, and other major cities. And alcohol and pork are both strictly prohibited throughout Brunei, and it is also illegal to consume tobacco in public. And fatwas can only be officially issued by the government itself, and all men in the country are required to attend Friday prayer, and all women are required to dress in a manner that covers the entire body when in public. Despite all of these strict restrictions, however, some very important things are absolutely free for every citizen of Brunei, including education at every level and complete medical treatment at any hospital. and there is no income tax whatsoever for any citizen of the country. And this is precisely why many citizens of Brunei genuinely love their Sultan, deeply and proudly call him the Sultan of the people, because they believe that Sharia law has kept the country peaceful and has dramatically reduced the percentage of crime compared to neighboring countries, though many other people find the country very restrictive and regularly travel to the nearby city of Miri in Malaysia for a little more freedom and access to things like alcohol and a more relaxed social environment. Sultan Hassanal Bolkiah's extraordinary personality has also been the victim of several major controversies throughout his long reign, including serious accusations of being involved in inappropriate private parties with his younger brother, Prince Joffrey. And in 1997, Miss USA Shannon Marketic filed a legal case against the Sultan and his brother in the United States, claiming that she had been made a hostage and forced to participate in deeply inappropriate activities against her will. But the U.S. court did not make any decision against the Sultan due to the legal principle of sovereign immunity, which once again showed that he is not only the richest man in the room, but also one of the most legally protected and powerful individuals on earth. In addition to this, there was another massive financial scandal in the 1990s known as the Amado Crisis, in which Prince Joffrey Bolkiah, the younger brother of the Sultan, was accused of catastrophically misusing billions of dollars of Brunei's royal wealth, spending it on luxury yachts, private jets, thousands of expensive cars, and an extraordinary lifestyle that shocked even the wealthiest observers. And because of this, the international reputation of Brunei was badly shaken, and serious tensions arose within the royal family. And finally, the Sultan stepped in, took complete control of the situation, and reasserted his authority over his brother and over the country. Brunei is such an empire where one part tells the story of unimaginable luxury and the other part applies some of the strictest Islamic law anywhere on earth. But apart from all of this, there are some fascinating facts about Brunei that most people in the world have never heard before, such as the fact that the word Brunei itself actually means "that's it" in the local language, and its full official name is Negara Brunei Darussalam, where Negara means country, and Darussalam means a place to live in peace, making its full name translate to the country that is a place of peace. And the oil and gas coming out of Brunei's ground runs fully 90% of the country's entire economy. And during World War II, Japan occupied Brunei specifically because of its valuable oil reserves, and it was the British who eventually liberated the country from Japanese occupation. And in 2013, Brunei became the very first country in all of Asia to completely ban shark finning, showing that even within its strict laws, there is a deep respect for the natural world. And the literacy rate of Brunei is close to 98%, which is better than many much larger and wealthier countries around the world. And the Brunei dollar, so trusted and stable that it can be used interchangeably with the Singapore dollar in both countries. And finally, the most visually stunning part of Brunei that almost no tourist ever forgets is Kampong Ayer, known as the Venice of the East, an ancient and beautiful settlement built entirely on the water of the Brunei River, where thousands of people still live in wooden houses raised above the river on stilts, a living reminder of Brunei's ancient culture and history that sits in extraordinary contrast to the Gold Palace and the 7,000 cars just a short distance away on the shore.